Good evening, everybody. Maybe it's still early afternoon, early evening where you are if you're where I am. But I'm joining you. I felt the need to come on here, just feeling compelled to say thank you to everybody who saw my message last night in my struggle. And that's where I've been. I've been in a struggle, as I'm sure all of you who follow me are. And it's just new to me to be this out front in my journey, where I have to make sure I'm being transparent about my strength and my weakness, because where do we find God? We find him in both of those areas, right? And he's definitely not going to let us experience those things without showing others, which would be where I am in front of you, that we need him in both. We need him when we feel strong, but more than ever, we need him when we feel weak, because where we end, he has to begin and he has to finish, I'm hearing. So I want to say thank you to everybody, so many of you. I haven't even been in a place where I could heart all the wonderful prayers that you gave me, but I just want you to know I've read all of them and I'm overwhelmed. So thank you. If you follow me, I'm a widow, but it's been years. But my book is coming out, so that's, reading through the pages of that has been showing me where there's still, more healing that has to occur. And there was healing that did occur, but then kind of got rewounded in other areas and things that occurred in my life. And so I'm just really working through the process. And like all of us, we're just very tired. And the enemy is very good at getting us to hold God accountable for what he is and isn't doing at the moment, right? But faith is we don't walk by sight. We trust that in time we will see it. And so that's what we do. We keep walking until we do. And in the meantime, he just asks us to see the other things that he's doing on the way, which is in us. And that means in our weakness. More honestly, I would tell you that most of the building that occurs will be in your weakness. That's when all the building happens. The Lord even had me in the book of Nehemiah 4 today. I encourage you to read it. I don't think I'm going to be able to get around to reading it, but it's basically some of the commentary in front of me just says, Nehemiah's enemies were, criticizing him about, rebuilding the wall and how the faith of a mustard seed can move mountains, but the underlying problem is that we don't need great faith, but that we have a small God in our minds, meaning we need a little bit of faith in a big God, not a lot of faith in a little God. And so if you get into the book of Nehemiah, I'm not going to get into all that. I'm not going to have time. Please get into the book of Nehemiah 4, because the reason I feel like he gave me that today was because it talks about, like I said, the rebuilding of the wall and the enemies who opposed the rebuilding. And it just kind of talks about how he called all the people to kind of join together to get this done, to work extra hard, to have people standing posts at different parts of where the rebuilding had to occur. And so everybody had these different jobs, right? Then the people of Judah began to complain. The workers are getting tired and there's so much rubble to be moved. We will never be able to build the wall by ourselves. There's even a reference in the scriptures that even the wall they were building basically sucked. It could easily collapse is kind of what it talks about. And I'm paraphrasing in my own language. Get into Nehemiah 4. I think it'll speak to you. But last night, to me, with all of you reaching out and praying for me, I believe he gave me Nehemiah 4 today, because we all came together to build a wall of faith for me. And I hope that's what I do for you when my strong moments, when I can pour into you. And I just want you all to know, thank you for being a wall for me last night and every day, especially a lot of you too, those of you that have been with me since the beginning. And then there's some new people that popped on last night to pray for me. And it's just, when you're in these journeys, it's really hard to see love. And let's just be honest, I'm just going to be very transparent. Sometimes I struggle with seeing God's love. And I went through that a lot with my husband, Matthew, when he was sick with his brain injury. The biggest struggle for me was seeing a loving God with the person I loved the most after God, which he dealt with me on that too, was struggling. And so I couldn't see love in my husband's suffering. But then we have to bring ourselves back to how God looked at the cross and saw his son. Wow, that's crazy. His son. And then look at the way the sun is just radiating behind me right now. It's pretty prophetic, if you ask me. Okay, I'll finish, Holy Spirit. It's crazy. But how the Father looked at his son and he saw suffering, but he knew that was still love, right? And so last night I was suffering because there is a lot of things going on behind the scenes of my life that I miss. I know God is my everything. And I've been through those 5 years when my husband Matthew could do nothing, couldn't even do anything but basically blink and move his hand somewhat. And you'll read about that in the book. But I just got very emotional because there's some things going on in my life that I'm facing, which all of us are. I'm facing just so alone. I don't have children. I'm not able to have children. I will just tell you this, some things that really I miss the most are, having someone to go to a doctor's appointment with, having someone to carry in your groceries, having someone to come home to just say, how was your day? Especially when you're going through so much behind the scenes. I know God protects his children. I know he watches out for us. I believe in him. I believe who he is. I've seen him be that God. And I know he has to bend and break us to become unbreakable, because if there's large callings on our lives or purposes and plans that he knows the enemy is going to put a large, target on, he knows that we can't go into those wars the same as we've done before. And so we have to experience those wars and win them, from a place of victory. And it's hard. I will just tell you something he also gave to me. Get into Nehemiah 4. Truly, it's a great metaphor for the way you guys swooped in last night to help me build back a wall of faith. And although my wall doesn't feel quite that strong yet, again, from things that I'm still dealing with and I even have had to call off of work a few days because there's some things I have to figure out in my life and some decisions that I just need some time off. And so that in turn is also impactful to me, being on my own. So just asking for continued prayer for that. And I pray that as well for all of you that need provision and protection and guidance and answers and clarity. Like, I get it. Like, it's so scary. Walking by faith is the single scariest thing you'll ever do. And it sucks because you beat yourself up because you're like, I shouldn't be scared because my God is exactly who he says he is and he's big. But those 11th hour moments, they test our faith. And sometimes they're not even 11th hour moments. Like when my husband died, I felt like, okay, there's my answer. And now I just am left dealing with it. But I will tell you, I've been 5 years out from that moment when my husband died, and God has not failed me in all the ways that matter. So I would just tell you, I encourage you, if you have anyone in your life that, you can, when you're scared, you can call and they want to listen genuinely and they care. Someone to take you to a doctor's appointment, someone to quell your fears when, you're told things that are scary and you're there alone, maybe when you don't have bills that you think you can pay, somebody that can, be a supportive income. Like, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad, but just try to be real grateful for a lot of those things, because I know with me, even when I get into those moments where I'm like, why can't this and why can't that? The Lord shows me there are people that don't even have food on their table. That don't have clean water, and I quickly get humbled. But I can hear the birds in the air right now in a country where I have freedom, and so I have air in my lungs, and as long as I have air in my lungs, I will continue to glorify his name, even when I don't have all the answers. But thank you again, everybody, for lifting me up. I'll try to pop in. I wanted to do a devotional, but I just wanted to flow here and say thank you for being my wall. And get into Nehemiah 4. I think it'll speak to a lot of you. I do feel it's prophetic for some of you. And just let's all be grateful, including myself, for the things that we tend to take for granted each day.